Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this video with a couple of friends and colleagues. Let them know to subscribe as well. Helps out a lot, and I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscriptions. Now, as you know, at the Popcorn Square, I'm always ahead of the game. I was talking about Superman vs. Fantastic Four about 2 weeks ago in time, and now everybody else is following suit. So now it's time to move on to other things, and I'm sure they'll follow up with this in about 2 to 3 weeks from now. Let's talk about Superman vs. Jurassic World Rebirth, or Jurassic World Rebirth vs. Superman. Seeing as how Jurassic World Rebirth releases first, we have all of the stats for both films, budget, obviously trailers. We have the analytics from the trailers. We have the amount of trailers, right? We're not going to talk about other promos or anything like that. And then we're going to talk about the head-to-head comparison and then what the future holds for both franchises. So let's just start off with what we have. Let's start with Jurassic World Rebirth, since it does open on the 4th of July weekend. The actual release is on July 2nd. They're going to get a 5-day weekend tally, so it looks very good for Universal Pictures. I do think this is the film that Universal is putting most of their marbles in the bag for. Obviously, they have Megan 2 that's going to be releasing at the end of June, but Jurassic World is going to be the one I think they're putting all their marketing budget into at this point in time. And now that I think about it, with Megan 2 releasing at the end of June, it's like right after that week you have Jurassic World releasing. So 2 big releases for Universal Pictures, and I believe Megan 2 is going to make a bunch of money as well. So everything is looking good for them right there. Now, like I said, it's a 2nd of July release. So they have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and then the evening of the 6th rounds out their weekend. So this is perfect timing for Universal Pictures, to be quite honest. I think there's a lot of people that are hyped for this film. Like I said, I think I'm going to pass on this film personally, but I do think the film is going to make a lot of money. We talk about promotions that go into these type of films, and as I've discussed, the Regal popcorn buckets, and not only the Regal popcorn buckets, but the popcorn buckets for places like Cinemark and other theaters. These are top-notch popcorn buckets. These are the type of things and gimmicks that these studios are using at this point in time, and theaters, because they're getting a cut as well, to get people in theaters. And I think just based off what I saw when it comes to the popcorn bucket talk, these popcorn buckets are probably top 3 popcorn buckets when it comes to just how elaborate they are. Very cool looking popcorn buckets, to be honest, and something that's tangible and gets people excited for the film. But going back to what I said as far as my research on the film, I've seen people that have said, hey, you know, I wasn't feeling that first trailer. It was just okay. And then when that second trailer released, they said, you know what, this actually makes me more interested in the film. So I believe with the more promo that they're doing for Universal Pictures and Jurassic World Rebirth, they're actually getting more people interested in this film. I said myself, when I saw the featurette footage that they released, to me, that was like damn near the best trailer that I've seen for this movie. It actually made me way more interested in this movie. And so, yeah, overall, I think Universal has done a decent job promoting this film. They do have advance tickets already out for sale. They put those advance tickets out, I want to say, at least a week ago. And Universal has not been shy with other promotions. Like I said, there's 2 trailers total for Jurassic World Rebirth. But there has been multiple points in time where they have released other information and other footage from this film. So there's a lot of promo out there if you go do some digging as far as Jurassic World Rebirth. I just saw a video that they actually put on the Jurassic World YouTube channel. I believe it was Jurassic World's YouTube channel, where they had Scarlett Johansson doing an ASMR with a couple dinosaur toys. So it's little promo like that. This might be the evolution that we're seeing with promotion for films. Do you have the main star doing things like this? More of like a social media spin when it comes to promoting a film. So maybe they're innovating in that way. And then I'm going to jump across the street and talk about Superman real quick. So with Superman, and we're just talking about promotion, apparently they're on a Superman like world tour or something like that with James Gunn and everybody that's in the cast, I believe. And so I think they're hitting different cities. I have to do some more research on that, but that's how they're promoting this film. And DC is in a really good place. Not only have they fully shot Superman, they're not even worried about reshoots at this point in time. They're just ready to promote this thing and then launch. They have Supergirl shot, which comes out next year. So DC is in a very good place. But back to Jurassic World Rebirth, let's just talk about a couple statistics, and then we're going to talk about Superman. So the reported budget that I have for Jurassic World Rebirth right now sits at $265 million. This isn't really a surprise. I believe the last Jurassic World was about that price tag. Might have been a little more. I did see a report stating that that film cost like $400 or $500 million, but there's nothing to substantiate that. So we're going to go with what has been listed prior. But yes, $265 million for Jurassic World Rebirth. As far as trailers are concerned, we have two trailers. We have the first trailer and then we have the second trailer. These are both official trailers. And we have a total of 44.8 million views when you combine both of those. That second trailer has not done as good as the first trailer. I can understand that. I wonder if it's going to pick up a little more, but they're at 44.8 million views in total. And when I'm disclosing these numbers as far as trailers are concerned, I'm not talking about any featurette footage, behind-the-scene footage, interviews, etc., anything like that, nor am I getting anything from social media. Obviously, if you look at social media views, these views are probably a 3x. But if we're just looking at what YouTube has brought in, it's 44.8 million views for two trailers. As I spoke on earlier, this film releases on July 2nd, and it will cover the 4th of July weekend. Now, as far as the future of this project, I believe this is going to be another trilogy. Obviously, Scarlett Johansson is the main role. She's the main star of this film. She is Zora Bennett. I've talked about this film and the future of this film personally. You can watch that in the catalog. Anything that I've discussed in regards to Jurassic World and Scarlett Johansson, I've definitely talked about that in the catalog for now. But yes, if we're talking about the future, I'm thinking this is going to be another trilogy. Is Scarlett Johansson going to be the main character throughout this trilogy? I don't know. Like I said, go watch the other videos in the catalog. There's a lot of interesting information when it comes to the people that are starring in this film. Now, obviously, Scarlett Johansson is the star of the film, but there are other characters involved as well. You have Jonathan Bailey, you have Mahershala Ali. Will they be people that are recurring? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the future of Jurassic World. Are they going to go into another direction after this film? We'll have to see how this film performs. I think this film is going to do very well, and I think people are going to like the direction that this film is going in. For the most part, it looks like maybe a return to form. That's what I've been hearing, and when I say a return to form, I mean like more of a Jurassic Park feel, more of a darker horror, serious vibe. Now, when I saw the trailer, I didn't really get that vibe, but I can see some elements of where it does kind of look like that again. And I think the audience may buy into that hype, but we will just have to see. And so I've pretty much covered everything as far as Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, in my last debate where I had Superman versus Fantastic Four, I covered a lot with Superman already, so we're going to be going through the motions once again with it. But I think when you see the numbers compared to the Jurassic World Rebirth numbers, people may look at Superman a little differently. And so let's jump into Superman. Superman's budget has been revised, I've heard. They said it was about $360 million. Now they're saying it's $225 million. So now the Superman budget is reportedly $225 million compared to Jurassic World Rebirth's budget of $265 million. Superman has one teaser trailer out and one official trailer out. Really, the teaser is like a trailer. I would say there's two trailers, but we'll call it a teaser and a trailer, and they have a combined total of 87 million views. Remember, Jurassic World Rebirth, 44.8 million. Superman has 87 million views in total. This is going to be very polarizing, ladies and gents. And Superman releases 9 days after Jurassic World Rebirth. Superman releases on July 11th. This is another Warner Brothers film. And so we're going through those stats pretty quickly because I have discussed it multiple times before, and really, I just wanted to show you guys a direct comparison between the two with budget, trailers, views, hype, and the release dates and how important it is. Now, I think Universal did a great job with that release date and getting that 5-day scoop for everybody in the families to go out right towards, I guess you could say, the middle of summer for a lot of the kids. So that's a great placement for Universal Pictures, especially right after Megan, 2 big movies in a row. But Superman is right after, and so they're going to cut into some of the profits for Jurassic World Rebirth. And then you have Superman right after 9 days, like I said, and then 2 weeks after that, Fantastic Four. And so there's a little gap there for Superman to make some money on the back end. First week's going to be very interesting. They have said that they expect Superman, and I'm going to be very generous with this. I'm going to say domestically they're saying Superman can make between $120 and $185 million. That is the range that I have seen and done research on. That's just domestic. That's not worldwide, ladies and gents. I haven't seen anything for Jurassic World Rebirth yet. When I do see something, I will report on it. But as far as Superman is concerned, that's a very good opening weekend, and they're saying that's going to set some DC Studios records. So that's going to be very interesting if Superman can carry like that. As far as the future of the project, we talked about this before in the last video. Superman, you're working with a DC Studios that is now helmed by James Gunn, Peter Safran. They're trying to build out the universe here. So not only are you going to get Superman in this film, you're going to get Superman and the Justice Gang. You're going to get a bunch of other characters because they are trying to expand there. And so when we're talking about the future of DC Studios, I think there's a lot of things that you can look forward to. As I said earlier, Supergirl has been shot, and then they're going to go on from there and just keep expanding, not only with the live action, but the animated as well. And so I think there's a bright future there. Jurassic World potentially has another 2 films coming behind it, and then maybe we have to reset again, hard reset like we're doing now. But I think DC Studios has at least 10 years in the tank on what they're trying to do. So I think the future is bright for both. I would think Warner Brothers and DC Studios has a brighter future because they're really building a universe. Jurassic World, they're not necessarily building anything new. They're adding, but not building anything new in a sense. And so it's not a new universe with Jurassic World Rebirth, just new characters in the world of Jurassic World. And so I think that's very interesting as well. As I said earlier, as far as promo, DC Studios, James Gunn, I think it is the cast of Superman. They're on a tour for this film, so they're promoting it, I think, all the way up into the release date of this film, or I'd say at least mid-June, maybe not a whole month tour. That'd be kind of exhausting, especially when you have to do your other slate of promo, which consists of interviews, going to different countries, having multiple world premieres, things like that. And I know both these studios are going to be pushing for that because they are in close proximity. As I've said before, Jurassic World Rebirth and Superman are really head-to-head competitors rather than Superman and Fantastic Four. Yes, I understand that Superman and Fantastic Four are pretty much the same genre, different studios, of course. You have Marvel with Fantastic Four, and then you have DC with Superman. But I think when it comes to proximity of release, these films are going to be way more competitive in a sense. And so we have done the rundown on Jurassic World Rebirth, right? We talked about budget, we talked about trailers, we talked about promo, we talked about the future of these projects, we even talked about the scheduling of these projects and how important it is, and then we talked about Superman. Like I said, a lot of the information I have talked about was a lot of the information that we saw when we had them facing off against Fantastic Four, and that was a good debate as well, and just a lot of good information. But I think this was a different spin on it because this is 2 different genres, but 2 huge films. Both these studios have a lot, I think, a lot riding on both these films. Jurassic World, kind of like in the same tier as Superman and Fantastic Four because now you have a new cast. This is a reboot. So once again, you're trying to reintroduce new characters in this world. The audience has to cling on to these characters and has to like these characters to really be invested in this film. Yes, we know it's about dinosaurs, but there's a human element as well to Jurassic World and Jurassic Park and why these films did work. As far as Superman, same thing goes. This is Superman. This is going to be very polarizing, right? People have ideas on what Superman is going to be like, what he's supposed to be like, and who's going to be playing Superman. It's like Batman. When you release a new Batman, all eyes are on you, and expectations are, I would say, very high. Once again, not only do you have one film, you have James Gunn trying to create a universe around this character and just create a new DC. So a lot of pressure on both films, and to throw in Fantastic Four, the same thing. They have a lot leading up into what's going to happen next year. We know they have pushbacks with Doomsday and Secret Wars. To my knowledge, Spider-Man Brand New Day is on schedule. I haven't heard anything to the contrary, and that starts shooting in July. But once again, 3 big films in the month of July. It's going to be action-packed. I think the cinemas and the studios are going to be very happy. A lot of money is going to be spent watching these films. I know I'm going to watch a couple of these films. I'll be reviewing them, and I think it's going to be a great July and a great conversation overall. But ladies and gents, that is the battle between Jurassic World Rebirth and Superman. If you like this video, please like this video. Please comment down below what you think about this debate. Also, comment down below your take on this. Who do you think is going to win at box office? I think Jurassic World is going to make a lot of freaking money. I think Superman could make just as much money if the word of mouth is good. But if I have to say who's going to make a lot of money off the rip and who has less pressure on them, I'm going to say it's Jurassic World Rebirth. I think the placement of when they're releasing this film is just spectacular, and they timed it perfectly. I do think they're going to have a trailer in front of Megan as well. So that's just great cross-marketing when you can do something like that. Not only do you have a film that's coming out 4th of July weekend, you're getting 5 days there, but you have a film that's going to make a lot of money, a film that people want to see in Megan 2, and you can use Megan 2 to actually put the trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth, maybe even a sneak peek in the trailers before people actually watch Megan. So just another reminder that this film is going to be releasing. So pinpoint accuracy there and strategic planning. And as far as Superman goes, I think this is going to be a film that just has a lot of people talking. To me, when I see Superman, based off what I've seen, I've only watched one trailer for this film. I'm staying away from the trailers and the spoilers. I want to try to enjoy it in its entirety as much as possible. But from my observation so far, it's really giving me a Christopher Reeve old school Superman vibe. So I think you're going to be able to hit a lot of demographics of people just for that element alone. And so I think, yeah, this film is going to make money. I know there's a lot of people that, hey, they don't want to see it make money. You know, at the beginning, I was kind of on edge about it. It's like, I don't know about this. I'm not really big on the James Gunn way of shooting and the way he like implements his humor and stuff like that. But I do think everything has been coming together well for Superman. So we will just have to see. And I have noticed, just a side note, a minor detail, there are no advance tickets available yet for Superman out on sale. So I'm wondering when they're going to put those tickets out. Maybe sometime next week. Also, no talk of popcorn buckets as well. Once again, these are promos that do help your film, as minor as they seem. So we're going to keep our eyes out on that as well. But let's just get back to things and wrap everything up. Go ahead and please comment down below. I would definitely appreciate to hear your thoughts and what you think about both these films. Let me know if you're going to be watching either of these films as well. That's going to be very interesting to see how many people are excited for these films. Also, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel. Really helps me a lot trying to reach 1,000 subscriptions. I love doing videos like this because now we take it from the surface. This is a little deeper conversation that I don't think people like to have. And a lot of people aren't even interested in this type of conversation. They're more into the controversy of things. I like to talk about what's really going on behind the scenes and make the information that I'm giving you very digestible and accessible. And so I really like doing that. And so it helped me out if you do subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell for notifications on more updates and for more updates on both of these films. If I get any more information moving forward, I'll let everybody know. With that being said, be safe. It's Neff signing off.